Guys, how's it going? This is Robear. Let's see, I'm doing some tests real quick. This is going to be my maybe first stream of a few with just when I'm just talking about hero stuff. Um, so for those of you guys that don't know me, I'm just kind of a a mid-tier, if that, arguably, excuse me, like a mid-tier HOTS player. I do stream, but I don't really actually stream with commentary or anything like that, just because of time commitments with everything else that's going on. But I do stream gameplay from time to time. Recently, I've been streaming our team's practices, which is kind of helpful for communication, just kind of our thought process of how we go about things. But sometimes it comes up where I get questions of the differences between some of the amateur leagues. Now, if you're watching this and you're in a higher division, obviously CCL is kind of our pro scene now, which kind of is replacing HEC, but obviously not for you guys because you guys are in a higher league. If you guys are already in these divisions already for NGS and HeroesLounge, probably not for you guys either. But if you guys are playing and you want a competitive experience, but aren't really too much of a fan of Storm League and grinding it out there, because in any MOBA and really just any online gaming experience, it can be kind of toxic for a lot of things. But once I discovered one of these amateur leagues, it was a lot of fun. Actually, I met some people, ended up playing with friends and family that I knew in real life, but then also people I met along the way, and it's been a good time so far. But I'm just gonna, as a captain, because I've been a captain for both, for our teams for both of those amateur leagues. And if you don't know about it already, I don't know. I don't know how you'd find this video, seeing how I have like no followers and no one knows who I am, unless you play against me in some of those division series. But if you know people that want to experience something like this, that are just tired of that Storm League grind and that toxicity you have to deal with, maybe the quick match players, ARAM players, we want to get more people playing this game, so just be a bigger community and just more fun and more competition. But and if you haven't played League Play before, even at the amateur scene, it's a lot of fun. It's a whole nother level, it's a whole nother game that you've experienced. So if you guys are promoters of stuff like this, just I don't know, forward this on to your community. You'll probably maybe you've even done a video like this before, but then again, if they're already in your community, maybe they already play Heroes of the Storm. So I don't know. Maybe this guys will find you, if you just kind of mess around with things. But I'll kind of keep it somewhat short here, even though I am long-winded. So what we're going to just briefly talk about is just the differences between HeroesLounge and NGS. There's a lot of nuances, but I'm just going to skim over the general stuff so you have an idea. So they're both amateur leagues. Basically, it's just a way to play at a higher level than you've probably experienced outside of Storm League, right? Now, if you've ever gotten with comms or communication with, just random people on the internet, it's kind of the same idea, but it's a little bit more structured. There's a lot more strategy involved, a lot that goes into it, and maybe future conversations, if maybe you guys like stuff like this, I can talk about it, at least from my perspective. And just so you know, I'm not like super experienced. I'm in kind of the lower divisions. I think I've experienced Division C so far at the highest. We've played Division B teams, and if you have not in the community, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But at the same time, again, this video is probably for mainly a lot of you guys that have never experienced anything like this. Now, brief history. We'll kind of go over, and actually you can see the websites here linked, and I'll probably post it in the description. I'll probably put like a highlight on Twitch, because that's where I'm recording it from right now, and then I'll put it in YouTube. And obviously, if you're on YouTube, if you like this stuff, thumbs it up, subscribe, because I have no subscribers at all right now. And but if you don't ever want to see it again, just do a thumbs down. That's fine. Never see me again. Perfectly good with that. But going onto the websites, I'm not going to really go into the navigation of it too much, but this is pretty much the site. From what I understand, and if you are following along and you want to add to this in the comments just to give clarification, let me know, because I vaguely know about some of the stuff, but not all the nuances. But basically, I believe this community was initially started in Europe. So they're like on season 14 right now. They got 7 divisions. And then NA, they've only had like six seasons and 4 divisions. Okay, so huge in the EU, and this is one of the only ones that I'm aware of. There might be other tournaments, other side leagues, but these are the 2 main amateur leagues that I'm aware of right now. And I know that if you're in the college scene, Tesla, which replace Heroes of the Dorm type thing. But the community's small, and hopefully we'll grow it after this video. And then we also have NGS, or the Nexus Gaming Series. This is kind of the website. Some differences here. So just some main differences that I noticed over time, like scheduling. Okay, so this is based off of like the United States and the NA. The scheduling is interesting because I believe right now, here, let's talk about it real quick. So scheduling. So with HeroesLounge, I'll just abbreviate here. HeroesLounge for the NA has like 4 divisions. They used to have 5, if I remember correctly. They have higher ranked gameplay to lower ranked as much as the people that signed up. They have free agents, so if you don't have a team, and actually they both do, but basically scheduling is interesting because you have a mix of people on the West Coast and East Coast, so it is a little bit harder to coordinate games because you have a mix. So you have a mix crowd here, and sometimes you only have brackets. I mean, depending what the teams agree on, you can play on the weekends, Friday nights, during the week. It just really depends on who your opponent is. And then you have, for NGS, it's a little bit more sector. They have two sides that have like an east and a west for each division for the most part. If they're super big, they might have like a southeast and a northeast, something like that. But they break it down into essentially like sections of the United States, so it's a little bit more friendly. We'll just do a west and east here. Okay, so I guess for convenience, I'm more of a fan of the NGS because it just makes it convenient, which actually ties into how they do their playoffs. So it's interesting, you can actually do both leagues technically. Their regular seasons, they've actually agreed, and I don't know how they did the communication, but they basically did it so one season will start, and then when one regular season ends, they'll go ahead and add the other season of the other league. So essentially you could just be playing competitive amateur HOTS like all the time, which is awesome. You can kind of burn out with that sometimes, but it depends on what you have on your schedule, right? Like some people have families, some people have kids, jobs, whatever. Maybe that might be a grind. But if you're younger, you don't have really a lot of responsibilities, you don't have like a relationship, then you can just grind them both out, whatever. They're both fun though. Now, as far as let's see, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so playoffs. So playoffs is interesting because HeroesLounge, from what I remember, unless they've changed it, and this is as of the 28th of January 2021. So if it's changed since then, forgive me. But they have a group stage, which is awesome. Kind of reminds me of soccer a little bit, the way they do it. They do it in pools from like divisions and things like that. I won't go into the nuances now, but they do like a group stage, and then they do like bracket play in a sense. Now the bracket play, they usually do it on one day. Sometimes it's been on a Saturday or Sunday, but it's like on a weekend usually. And you do like 3 rounds after you've done the group stages. So we'll do 3 rounds, 1 day on the weekend, right? So that's how they do the playoffs there. NGS, they don't really do group play, they just jump right into bracket play. So what you do is you play your conference, which is West or East. So you have the conference playoffs, and then you have the clash between East and West. And that one's a little bit harder to coordinate, but let's see, how do I want to write this here? We'll just do east versus west. All right, perfect. Now, I prefer, again, NGS just out of convenience. Honestly, if you don't really care, then either one. I think just because I'm older and I value my time and have a lot of other things going on, I'm kind of down to convenience on that. Now, some other things that I've noticed is statistics. So this is kind of fun. HeroesLounge, I don't know how they did it, but their database is fantastic as far as what they track. So they track like team play, they track individual players, even if they switch teams. And I think NGS does too. No, I know they do actually. NGS does too, but just the way they present the information, I don't know, it just doesn't seem as user-friendly. They actually do it through an affiliate site, which is Heroes Profile. And I just feel like, personally as a captain, because I do the scouting for our team, I just want more information. And I know they're trying to make it as user-friendly as possible. I just know HeroesLounge has like, I don't know, they just have a lot of cool stuff. And here's the thing, they could both add more. But for right now, I actually like the statistics system for HeroesLounge better. Just from a scouting perspective, which I might actually talk about in another video in the future. But yeah, they both have they both have like some statistics systems. Some of you might not even care unless you're scouting teams. And really, like, if you're not even used to doing that, if you just do HeroesLounge or not HeroesLounge, Quick Match and ARAM and Storm League, it's gonna be like, whoa, this is kind of insane. But yeah, essentially you can like scout other teams, you can scout for trends, all that stuff, and that's the statistics for both of the sites play into that for sure. Let's see, some other differences is how they do subs. Or let's see, let's do subs because I can't spell apparently, substitutions. But the way they do the subs, from what I remember, they kind of have every player kind of ranked like in an MMR. I can't remember how they did it. It might have been off of like Heroes Profile for that. Let's see. I'll do through Heroes Profile, or yeah, Heroes Profile. If you're not sure what Heroes Profile is, it's just like a way you can upload games, then it keeps stats for you that way as well. There's a lot of, that's how you like, you know, take a look at talents, and a lot of you guys are probably familiar with that. Another popular one is obviously HOTS logs, which has come back due to Into the Nexus. I don't know if they own it or just Garrett from there owns it, but they own it and it's working, and they're both using them together. But the thing is, with subs with HeroesLounge, it's a lot lighter. It's easier to get a sub. It's kind of weird. It's like there's not as much like, you know, you have to fit this criteria, because I think the problem, not really a problem, with NGS, the rosters, let's put a little tougher, I guess. It's hilarious. This video, you guys are going to do a whole bunch of downvote for this lack of planning. But basically in HeroesLounge, it's a little easier because they have less restrictions. Like, you know, a lot of times you'll see rosters like, or teams that have like 5 or 6 people, and then, you know, if they don't have a full team, they'll try to get a sub last minute, and then they just have to fill like an MMR like range, right? And that, I've noticed, is a lot more lenient, but then again, it makes sense because they have less divisions and less teams, so they just want to make sure the games get done. But the greater, like, you can actually have better players a little bit in lower leagues to some degree. But if anything, it's just easier to find a sub, because a lot of times you'll make relationships with people you play against all the time, the same divisions you're at. So then, you know, it's just easier to find a sub with essentially someone you've played against, right? And that's kind of like who your tier is, and you kind of get used to playing them. It's kind of like going to, you know, to the gym, playing basketball, and going at the same time playing with all the same types of people, or something to that effect. Now the NGS is a little tougher. I mean, it's actually even tougher sometimes just to get in, because I think right now they're requiring a certain amount of games. I haven't really looked into the nuance, but and then they're tracking like the ranks, and they're trying to make it as fair as possible. I appreciate that. I think it's just hard, sometimes hard to get a sub. I think they're looking into that right now, so maybe it's changed or it will change before next season starts, which is sometime next month in February. But as of last season and seasons before, it's just been tougher. Like, I think a lot of the people, or my network that I know, are basically people I go up against. So I had to find someone that played in a lower division, or I don't know, it was just harder. It was just a little bit harder, in my opinion. So I just hope that no one got sick or no one had real life stuff. Obviously, I'll give the, I like HeroesLounge better for that reason. Now, there's the other little quirk things. Now, if you think about the level of play, I mean, let's see, I don't even know, do we make this a category? But I guess I will, because I'm typing it out now. So the level of play is pretty high for both. I can't remember what the top division is, but they have one, and it's, I mean, I guess it's kind of like right below CCL. I think it's probably the highest level of team play that you can organize together, and also NGS has the same thing. So let's see. So there's something to aspire to. And this is the same for both, actually. Now, I'll put a plus for both because I think it's cool. I think it's cool, something to aspire to. If you've ever played soccer, I'm not really a big soccer player, but if you're familiar with how it works, you know, you have you know, all those high tier teams. I think they're called the Premium League. I'm not a soccer fan, so I'm probably going to botch a lot of this up, but you know, you have the highest league, if the highest play the best teams, and then you have all these leagues that are under there. And a lot of teams are trying to get up there because obviously they make more money, a lot more marketing dollars, things like that. But what happens, to my understanding, is the bottom 3 teams of each league, and I don't know how many they have, bottom 3 teams go down, top 3 teams go up, right? It's similar to that degree as well for both of those leagues, if I'm not mistaken, which is kind of fun. So even if your ranking isn't really that high in Storm League or whatever, if you have a group of guys, even if you're all bronze as an example, but for whatever reason you guys coordinate really well as 5 and you do really well, you can actually move yourself up in the rankings that way, and you can, you know, eventually get to the top tier. Now, you know, a lot of people, you know, we kind of have like a pro, semi-pro scene. I'm not as familiar, but it's called CCL now. Hopefully it carries on for a while. It sounded like they had some pretty good success in the first season, which either is ending soon or just ended. Obviously I don't follow that, but from what I hear, it's pretty awesome, and it somewhat replaces the old pro scene to some degree that they had. Kind of fun. They do a draft, all that stuff. Maybe we'll talk about that in the future too. But for this, it's like you kind of build your teams, you know, through the through the community, or maybe you have like 5 people or 4 other people that want to play with you, and you just throw it all together and have some fun that way. So that part's cool because there's always ways to get better. There's people, you know, that you're going to be better than you, and you're going to be better than, and you know, and that's obviously how you build relationships and network through that community. And the community is like really small. Like if you want to reach out to me and something you want to do that you've never done, I can probably help you with that. You know, I mean, heck, maybe we'll even build a team around you. We'll see. If you got a good attitude about stuff, you know, there's all levels of play, and you know, it's kind of like a guild or a clan, and there's a lot of them actually. So, and maybe we'll talk about that in another video. I don't know, but basically, we're always looking for new members, and even if it's just like, hey, I don't know where to go, like you can hit me up. I have a Discord. I don't know what it is. I actually don't know. So maybe I'll find out what it is, and I'll throw it in the notes. You know, obviously you can comment here on YouTube, or you know, you can reach me on Twitch. Follow Robear. Now, to kind of wrap it up, I'm trying to think if there's any other things that kind of were the main differences. Yeah, I mean, even though the game isn't like super popular, it is in some things, but it's kind of small, but it's fun community. If you've never experienced like League play before, I definitely recommend it. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about like the things, what do I want to call this? I'll just say fun stuff here. Maybe Or fun stuff for lack of better verbiage. Now, casting. Okay, so casters they have for both. Okay, but for HeroesLounge, they don't have as many. Okay, and really just to keep in mind, maybe I'll do this in a different thing. But I mean, these are like free sites, or free sites. It's like there's no paid membership or anything like that. It's just basically people having fun building leads. And then let's see. And I think there's just more emphasis in the past from NGS as far as activity. So NGS is really good about building the community. They have like, and I think actually HeroesLounge has a lot too, which I don't know of all the things, so I'm probably missing stuff. Again, add in the comments below if there's stuff that you feel would be valuable to add to this video. But they both got articles, I believe. They do interviews. I don't know if HeroesLounge does interviews. Put a question mark here. But I do know NGS does interviews, and this is outside of after the game. So if you can envision, if you've never experienced anything like this before, sometimes you'll get lucky enough and someone will cast your games, meaning they'll pretend they're like the broadcaster or like the the play-by-play person, and maybe they'll even have an analyst. But it's pretty much they just showcase your teams that are playing. Even if there's like one person watching, no people watching, 100, 200 people watching, doesn't matter. Depends on how big the caster is, but they'll showcase you and your opponent, for that time if they're picking up your thing, which obviously it adds content for them, but then also you guys get to get showcased. And sometimes they'll even interview the winners after. So it actually feels like, I guess, like you're kind of famous, or just get the experience of hey, we just played a competitive thing and maybe someone watches it at some point. I don't know. But it's just a fun experience. But yeah, they have articles. Yeah, so NGS definitely does have a lot of outside videos, a lot of extra fun things to kind of build on the community. I've been really impressed recently with some stuff that NGS has been doing that I don't think HeroesLounge has done yet, or I don't know if they will because it's just a lot of time, but they've somehow made it so games that are playing or being broadcasted are on their website. So there's the website caster connection, I guess, which is fun. So you basically go to their website, and if there's any games playing, they'll showcase it. So even if you don't want to play the leagues, this is a way to just see what competitive play is like, and maybe you'll become a fan of some of these teams. My team is Team Rainbow Strike Grow, so give a holler, especially if you watch this video and come find us. But let's see what else. And oh yeah, they do stats. NGS does stats specifically for players. So I liked HeroesLounge overall statistics better, but NGS just does another step where they kind of match you up against other people in your division. So it's kind of like kind of like you were on I used basketball before. I have a basketball background, but basically if you're on a basketball team and you scored 20 points, you can kind of see what other teams scored essentially, or how what their statistics were. And it's kind of a fun thing. I wish we had more access to it, but they maybe they just do it in on their own and they just kind of send it over. I just kind of wish that was more available, because sometimes I feel like those statistics are more helpful than what they do with the other site, Heroes Profile. And then maybe Heroes Profile is just limited anyway with what they can and cannot do. That part I don't know, but either way, that's just kind of some of the things that I've noticed between both. I mean, there's a lot of other things that we could talk about, like the rules and all of these nuances, but I don't know. I'm not even an expert of those anyway. I think these are just the main things I've noticed between both divisions that are probably notable differences. So anyway, hopefully you guys like this content. Again, subscribe if you like it, hit the thumbs up, and maybe we'll see you guys in the future. And I will be streaming our scrims a little bit later. And hey, Howlin, how's it going? Nice to see ya. But you guys have a good one. Take care.